Hi, everybody. It's Alicia, and welcome to the Learning Tube. I am joining you here from Georgia, where it is so wet and raining, but I'm at an event and I am speaking tomorrow. So I'm excited. I'm going to be talking about AI, of course, and Summit. So it'll be a fun presentation. And speaking about fun presentations, we have a guest speaker for you today. Did you guys hear that? We have an amazing guest speaker for you here today. So I'm going to ask you to put your hands together in a minute for our amazing speaker. But first, let me tell you a little bit about her. You ready? So today you're joining us with a special guest, Joella Bower. She is a seasoned coach and digital marketing expert with over a decade of experience in the industry. With a coaching journey dating back to 2011, she has earned numerous prestigious coaching certifications, including general life coach and specialties in money mindset and business coaching. Let's go with the money mindset. Somebody say money mindset. I love that. Today, as a certified AI consultant and trainer, she seamlessly blends her coaching expertise with cutting edge digital strategies. So here we go. You want to know what she's going to teach you about today? You guys ready? So today she'll share with us how to discover what's truly blocking your path to success in your business. She's going to uncover the truth about imposter syndrome and how it really fits into your business's success or failure. Some of y'all really need to know that because you are not stepping into your greatness because of this thing called imposter syndrome. You know that's true. And if that's true for you, just say true in the comments. So let's have her help us get over that. The next thing, she's going to help us understand that concept of an inner glass ceiling. Where does it come from and how can you really bust through it? And we're going to learn how to face our money truths and the hidden mind-body connection. That's interesting. So we're going to experience a powerful money exercise based on the 5 kinds of money. 5 kinds of money. Tell me more about that. And we're going to learn the most effective tool that can help you rewire your nervous system about money. So, you know what I like to say about money? It's like money, money. Type money, money in the chat. Type money, money in the chat. And on that note, I would like for everybody to type into the chat, welcome Joella, give her a nice welcome. Ava, take me off the screen, put her on the screen, and let's get this party started. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Alicia. That was great. I appreciate it. Lots of things that you brought up there that I'm going to be talking about today. So yeah, I'm really glad that everybody's here, that I could be here to do this. And I know this is going to be different than what you're used to as far as, usually I've been in Alicia's world for several years now and, have done several programs. And I know that, most of it is about tools and stuff like that we can use to, master and make money, and have a business and grow that business that we want. And which is great because we need that. And I love the fact that we can do this and we can be part of this community. But there's another piece of it. And I think if you're struggling a little bit, that this piece can't be underestimated and really needs to be talked about a little bit. And so it's just as important. So I'm going to go over some things. I'm going to get ready to share my screen. Let's see. Okay, let me just move this out of the way. That little bar gets in the way all the time. All right. Okay. First of all, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we hear.
All righty. Okay. So basically today I'm going to be talking about shattering your inner glass ceiling. So this is that glass ceiling that we've all kind of heard about, the glass ceiling, as far as like maybe in the corporate world, they talk about it a lot with, women in the corporate world, that they can kind of get so far and not get any further. But today we're really going to be talking about that inner glass ceiling. So it's kind of that money glass ceiling that is really deep within ourselves, and it causes these kind of blocks to us being super successful and and really being able to kind of earn the money that we want to earn. So So today you're going to learn how to identify your specific hidden blocks, especially where it comes to money. We're going to talk about the 3 aspects you must unlock to really change the mind, body, money connection. And there is absolutely a mind, body, money connection, because you got to remember, money is really just energy, and we are made of energy. So we have this connection all around. And we're going to talk about the secret inner set points that limit and sabotage your income earning potential. Do you ever feel like you're being sabotaged? Like you get so far and you can't get any further? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And your steps to a completely new energy and action and destiny with money. So once you kind of, work through some of the blocks, then how do you go to step up to be your best self, right? That next step and really step into your energy. So who am I and why am I doing this training? Well, as Alicia said, I've been a coach. I've been in the coaching industry since 2011 and really started kind of in general coaching. And then I went to health coaching and then moved on to business coaching and wealth coaching. And so one of my certifications is being an authorized tapping into wealth coach. And so this has to do with using EFT, but I'm going to get into that a little bit and, a little bit later. And so that's kind of, where my experience comes from, years and years of experience, and really my own story, right? I started this coaching business back in 2011, and I was like, all right, here we go, hang out my sign and people will come. And, I had some success and everything, but I worked so hard, like I wasn't seeing the results for the work I was putting in. If anybody else, can can relate to that, let me know. It's a hard thing. You're putting in all this work and you're not really seeing the results. And so, so that's part of why I do this. And then working with clients, I see the same things in clients. So when all else is equal, this is something I want you to ask yourself. When everything else is equal, opportunity, skill, motivation, when it's pretty much equal with other people that you are kind of in a program with, but you're not reaching the same results as maybe somebody else in the program, you have to ask yourself, or you have to have an awareness. I would assume that you would have an awareness that something else might be going on, right? So there's something going on that's kind of blocking your success. And what is that? And I think this idea has been around long enough, money blocks, money mindset, that I think that, it's natural for people now to kind of say like, oh, maybe I have some blocks to money. But what does that really mean? What do you do about it? It's not just enough to be aware of it. You really have to get clarity and be specific to clear the blocks, right? So let's talk about that little thing called imposter syndrome, which Alicia mentioned there in the beginning. So a lot of people will say, I have imposter syndrome. I have imposter syndrome. And it's one of those things that is a go-to if we are struggling, right? We might say like, I have imposter syndrome and this is my problem. And it is a real thing. And it's really about, I'm not going to read everything on the slide, but it's really about, feeling like a fraud. And I think what it is we have these people that we follow that we might call gurus that, they seem to have everything all together and they are, bigger than life, right? And we love them for what they teach. And it could be, Tony Robbins, it could be Jack Canfield, it could be Alicia Little, it could be many, many people. And we see them and we're like, wow, I want to be just like them. And, we're putting in all this effort, but we kind of feel like it's difficult when you feel like you haven't arrived yet, like you haven't gotten to that place. And you do have to kind of almost fake it till you make it a little bit. Like you have to put yourself out there and say, I'm this. But, but people will kind of fall back on that imposter syndrome a little bit. And I want to just tell you just a quick little story to kind of drive my point home, that these people that we love and adore and they're so powerful that we follow are really no different than you and I. So that's something that I think we really need to get out of our head, is that they are, different. Like we love to admire them and, feel like we want to be them. But just a quick little story. So I had a guru that I was following for a while, loved her, still do, love her energy. And she could really command a room. And somehow, I want to make this long story short. So somehow I was able to get into her inner circle. Don't know how it happened. Yeah, I do know how it happened, but I was able to get into her inner circle and, started kind of working with her and working with the team. And I was just in awe of her. And we had been at this live event and I was kind of helping in the background. And then after the live event, we all went to a team dinner together. And we were at this team dinner and I'm still at awe. And I'm looking at her like she has hung the moon, like, oh my gosh, she's what I want to be. She's so amazing. She's so powerful. And then she really lets down her guard and she just starts talking like she's talking to girlfriends, right? Like, talking about her life and everything. And what struck me after a while, I was like, oh my gosh, like she's just like us, she struggles with the same things. And so I just want to, and it was a good thing. I felt like it was a really good thing because it kind of made me understand that she is just like us. So the people that we follow, that we hold in such high esteem, they are really just like us. They might be a little further ahead, but they still get frustrated. They still have days when they don't feel like getting out of bed. They still have times when they're mad at their kid or their spouse or whatever. They are normal people. They have just had a little bit more experience. So I want you to stop, worrying about, or even calling yourself or thinking about it, because you probably wouldn't say it out loud to too many people, but you might be thinking it. And it's that inner talk that really gets to us. So I want you to stop thinking about being an imposter and just think about, I am on this path. I'm not quite there, but I'm getting there. All right. So let's see. So I talked about there was 3 hidden aspects of money. And so the first one is, again, I said money is energy. So the first aspect is emotions. So each type of money, and you'll see what I mean by type of money in a minute, but each type of money or each category of money creates emotions around it that kind of run through our nervous system whenever we really take time to think about them. So we have the emotions, programmed beliefs. So we have that habitual inner talk that happens whenever you really think about money. It's these things that we say to ourselves like, oh, my people, never had money. Like I come from a family that never had money. We're not those people. I came from the wrong side of the tracks, right? Like we have those programmed beliefs. And then sometimes we have past traumas, and a lot of times we have past traumas. And around money. And so this could be like having a job that you really loved and then you were fired, or it could be having to claim bankruptcy because something happened that was out of your control. Could be a divorce that happened that puts you, just back in a bad place. So we have these kind of 3 hidden aspects in our money. And so these are the categories or the kinds of money that I was talking about before. So we have savings, debt, income goals, and toxic money. And so when I say the 5 categories of money, these are the ones that we kind of look at to really identify the blocks, right? These are the ones that we're really looking at to identify blocks. So time for an exercise. So I'm going to ask you to grab a piece of paper and maybe a couple pieces of paper, because we're going to go through a couple different scenarios of this. And just grab some paper and a pen or pencil. And I'd love for you to remove all distractions and really create a space for clarity and transformation. And then really just set your intention right now. Just close your eyes for a minute and just set your intention that you are going to get what you need to move forward, that you're going to get the answer you need. You're going to get something. You're going to get a piece of it, right? So grab that paper. And we're going to start with the first category of money. So the category we're talking about now is savings. So I want you to really just write down how much you currently have in savings, in your savings account. And so this is not going to be something that you couldn't easily get your hands on, like your retirement account. This is going to be, like your savings that you could go in and grab and withdraw at any time. So how much is that figure? Just rough estimate. And then I want you to, once you've written that figure down, I want you to take a minute and really look at this figure. Just sit with it, look at it, and see what feelings are coming up for you. All right, so I want you to kind of be looking at that figure, and I want you to write down what are the two main feelings that come up when you look at that savings figure. Really just kind of look at it, take it in, and what are a couple of feelings that come up for you when you're looking at that savings figure? Now, if you've been good about saving, this could be all positive, right? It could be, safety or whatever. But if you're lacking in your savings, it could be, fear or a sense of, not being safe or whatever. So just write down the first couple of feelings that come to you when you when you look at that figure in your savings. And put in the chat if you could, I'd love for a couple of people to put in the chat, what are the feelings, if they want to share. Nobody has to share. So if you have a couple of feelings that come up, write those, let's share those with us if you can. I need to get more money. Yeah. Not being safe. Yeah, that's a big one. Fear and disgust. Now that is difficult, right? Like, that is really, it can be, yeah, tension and regret, sad and disappointed, disappointment, not accomplished. I need more. It can definitely be depleted. That's a kind of worry that a lot of people have, right? They worry that like, oh, I've got a little nest egg now, but if something happens, this is going to be that I'm running out of time. That's a great one. I hear that a lot. Yeah, perfect. So some of this is the feelings that came up. And so I think you've already answered, what do you say in your head? Because a lot of that is very similar, right? So they can be kind of the same type of thing. What's the two feelings? So feelings might be like fear, anxiety. Somebody said disgust, that feels so bad. And what do you say in your head? What do you say to yourself? What's that nasty thing that you say to yourself about your savings, right? It's a hard one to look at, but I just want you to kind of get real about it. And then past events. Is this triggering any feelings of loss or disappointment or losing security or safety? So if you have any of that, just write that down. And this could be you, or it could be your family of origin, right? It could be something that happened in your family when you were growing up, the past events. Now, looking at that figure, I want you to complete this statement. This means I'm blank. This means I'm blank. What's the first thing that kind of comes to mind when you finish that statement? Just write that down. All right, so we're just going to look at some clarity questions around this. So how long has it been this way, right? Like, how long have you been feeling this? How long has this been going on? And how much has this cost you? So not in a monetary figure necessarily, right? But in your self-confidence or, your willingness to do stuff, to feel, good about yourself. How much has this really been costing you? And how much could it continue to cost you? All right. And I want you to just give yourself some self-compassion, right? You've been really hard on yourself. I heard some words that were super, super tough there. And if those are the kind of things you've been saying, you've been hard on yourself about this. So do you really understand now what you've been up against, right? Like, so you're trying to start a business, have a side hustle or whatever, and get this money and stuff like this. But you're if you're up against kind of these words and stuff, because we know how important words are, right? Even internally, that's why we have affirmations and stuff. So if you've been saying these things to yourself, then it doesn't really allow for you to really accept in all of the goodness, right? All of the stuff that you should have. So show yourself some compassion for everything you've been through. All right, so we're gonna go to debt. I know that little 4-letter word, debt. So we're gonna kind of go through the same thing. So I really want you to write down debt on your piece of paper, and then write down how much you currently have in debt. So, this could be, definitely things like credit cards, car payments, personal loans. If you could include your house, in there, like if you own a house, but, a house is generally considered an asset. So I'll leave that up to you because really it's just the way you represent it in your head. So write down how much you currently have in debt, just a round figure, doesn't have to be exact. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to really just take a minute to look at this figure and really sit with it. And you see that word debt, and you have this figure. Just kind of look at it and sit with it. All right. And so now we're going to kind of go through some of the same questions. What are the two main feelings that kind of come up when you're looking at your debt figure? And or what do you say in your head? What's that nasty inner talk that goes on in your head about your debt? If you want to share in chat, I would love to see anything. Yeah. You've been avoiding getting into debt. And, some debt is necessary at times, right? Especially if they say you have to spend money to make money. That could be true in some ways. So if you're super, super scared about going into debt, that actually could hold you back in in your money. So obviously we don't want a heavy, heavy amount of debt, like way more debt than we should be able to, handle. But, we sometimes, like, we might spend so much time trying to avoid it that we were missing out on some opportunities, right? Like maybe, you're missing out on something you could be doing, right? Afraid, anxiety, how did I get here? Yeah, lots of questions. Overwhelmed, it's my fault. I'm stupid and lazy. See, these are those things that, that's just bad stuff to feel, right? It's bad stuff to think and feel. Like feeling that is a lot of work, for our brain and for, our soul to handle. Too stupid to work with money, hating debts. Yeah. Bankruptcy is the only option. Yeah, that's pretty scary. Anxious, stressed. Yeah. Yeah. So, and is there any past events, so battle, betrayal, or something you never forgave yourself for? So, did something happen in the past that you didn't really forgive yourself for and, kind of think like, if I hadn't have done that, maybe it's like money that you spent on something that, that you then later thought like, I shouldn't have done that. I was stupid for that. That put me behind. Again, it could be like a bankruptcy or something. So write down any past events that might be circling up to the surface when you think of debt. And then go ahead and looking at that figure, complete this statement. This means I'm blank. And fill that in. This means I'm all right. So now let's go over our clarity questions around this. Similar as the last time, really look at how long has it been this way? How much has it cost you? Because, if you're always worried about debt, it's really hard to focus on getting ahead and, doing the things that you need to do to get yourself out there, right? To get your business going and everything. How much will it continue to cost you? So if it's cost you, some really heavy things, how much will it continue to cost you? And again, self-compassion is always the way, from some of the things you've written, how hard you've been on yourself. So I really just want you to take a minute, just take a breath, right? Now you understand kind of what you've been up against. So if you've been struggling a little bit, just give yourself a little bit of a break, right? Give yourself some compassion. Because, some of this stuff didn't even really come from you. I'm going to talk a little bit later. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the family paradigm, but some of this stuff really didn't even come from you. It kind of comes from your family, right? Your family of origin and the way they handled money and the way they kind of passed that down. So you may be struggling with things that didn't even, come from like your origin, right? Okay, the last one we're going to look at today is income. And what I'm going to invite you to do is to write down the income from your business that you are trying to, get going, or that you are running, or your side hustle. If you have a full-time job or even a part-time job that you wouldn't be doing if you could get your side hustle or your business going, like you would quit there in a heartbeat, then don't include that income. Just include the income that you're getting from your business, from your side hustle. How much do you have in monthly income? And just an estimate, you can just put an estimate down. And then take a minute to really look at this figure and sit with it. All right, and now this is just a little bit different, some of the same things, but I really want you to look at that number that you've written down for your income and say, it's not enough. It's not enough. My God, it's not enough, right? How true does that feel on a scale from 1 to 10, where 10 is like, it is the truest, like it couldn't be more true? How true does that feel? And you can put that in the chat if you, yeah, somebody said 100, got it. 8, 10, yeah, some high numbers. Yeah. All right. And so what are the two main feelings? Again, we're going to do this. What are those feelings that kind of bubble to the surface when you think of your income? And write those down if you can. And then what are those things that you say in your head, right? That habitual talk, when it comes to your income. It's like those people can earn that income, but I can't. Like there's something, I'm, my people, my family never earned that kind of income, or that would be looked down upon even, What are the things, the habitual talk? And then for this one, past events. So any job or financial traumas in your earnings, yours or your parents. So any kind of financial traumas you can think of. And again, this is your perspective, so I can give you some ideas, but it really is how it's represented in your head. So it could be a parent had a great job, and was, you were living a good lifestyle, and then all of a sudden they were fired from that job, and then there was lots of struggle and arguing, that could be a financial trauma around your parents. For you, it could be the same thing, right? Something that's happened to you. And then again, I want you to look at that figure and complete the statement. This means I'm blank. This means I'm blank. And I'm just going to look at the chat for a second. Yeah. Laid off and lost everything. Yeah. Fear of success. Yeah. And that's a thing. I mean, you wouldn't think so. It seems so counterintuitive, but fear of success. I think one of my great teachers said, are you afraid to fail, or are you really afraid that you are more powerful than you can ever imagine? And is that, really scary? And I think that's true. And I think you have to look at both angles, right? Being really afraid of how powerful you really could be. And what does that mean? What does that mean for me? What does that mean in my family? Am I going to be ostracized from my family? It could have a lot of stuff behind that. Oops. All right, and then we're just going to ask those clarity questions again around this. How long has it been this way? And how much has this cost you? And how much will it continue to cost you? And again, can't go by without some self-compassion. Give yourself a hug, right? You've been super, super hard on yourself. And now, like I said, you kind of understand. So now we've done 3 of these different categories of money, and you can kind of see the negative stuff that's coming up. And so, money is not everything, but we do need money to get along in this world, to get some of the things we need to pay, for our living and so forth. And so, we need it. And so when you think about it, like, you have to think about it at times. And when you think about it, if you have all of this stuff coming up, it makes it super difficult, right? And can really get in the way. So let's take this moment of consciousness and really try to kind of put this all together. So I want you to kind of look at some of the words that you've written with the 3 categories of money that we've gone over. And you don't have to write this whole thing out, but you can just write the 3 words that you think, or circle them. My nervous system is wired to connect these emotions with money and wealth. My nervous system is wired to connect these emotions with money and wealth. And just, circle a few of those that feel true to you. I had to take care of my siblings, cost me early in my young, yeah. I'm afraid to let go of money, yeah. And we have these, there are these programs where they say, you really need to make friends with your money, right? You need to treat it like a friend. You need to invite it in, and but it is kind of true, because again, money is really just energy. And so the energy that we are handling money with, even the thought of money, it's not, we don't want to be scared of money. That's not the greatest energy. That's not a good energy at all to be with money. So the next part is, I say this habitually to myself about money and about me, but it's not true. I know at the core it's not true, but I do say this about me habitually. So if there's any theme in the kinds of money that we've gone over, that you see kind of coming up in those 3 different categories, you can write that down. This is kind of what I habitually say to myself. And these things all together remind me of, so it could be a situation, an event that happened. So if you can think of something there, write that down. I'm just going to look at the chat real quick. Yeah, there was always someone in the family needing help. Yeah. That's an interesting thing there too, because I have heard that in the past too with clients, that somebody, I can't remember they were talking about, like, every time I get money, then everybody comes to me for money, right? From my family, like somebody wants money. And so, like, I either have to give it to them, or, feel bad about not helping. And so I'd rather just not make a lot of money at all, because I don't want to be put in that position. But, so that could be really, really a big one. Yeah, it's very weighty. Yeah, definitely. All right, so all of this is kind of bringing us to a clarity and kind of our self-diagnosis, right? It's leading you right to this. So if we drill it all down, what is the main emotion that you need to focus on clearing around money? What would you say is the main emotion? And there's several for sure, but what's the biggest one? Can anybody put what they're thinking in the chat? Like, what's the biggest emotion that you just think has come up to the surface? I am able. I like that. Don't know how to say no. Yeah. I feel bad not helping. Yeah. Negative self-talk. Good. And what is the big belief you're battling? What is the big belief? So it could be, that people, like I said before, people in my family, we're not those kind of people. I mean, if you heard things when you were growing up about like, ugh, those people that have money, they think they're so great. They're snobby or they're this or that, we're not like those people. We're hardworking. You hear these kind of things, and as a child, they are totally just downloaded into your brain. And so now, you're trying to, make a life for yourself and have a successful business. But, there's this inner talk that's going on. Sometimes you're not even aware of it. That's why we're doing these exercises. And that's really just holding you back. So whenever you try to put out effort, whenever you try to take it to the next level, this kind of inner talk is going on, and it's beating you back down. Right? It's keeping you at that inner glass ceiling, right? You have this glass ceiling that you have imposed on yourself, right? And because of the situation, it's not your fault. It's because of all this stuff that was kind of downloaded. And what I see now, I see now why I deal with, manage, spend, and earn money the way that I do. If you have any thoughts on that, go ahead and write that down. I'm just going to look at the chat here. Not good enough. Yeah, that's a big thing. And if you're busy, like you have that push and pull, right? So, you're trying to step out, you're trying to make yourself better, you're trying to do better things and improve your life. But if you have this inner self-talk that says, I'm not good enough, well, then you have these two opposing, sides, right? And they're fighting each other. They're just really battling each other. I give myself grace, no more regret. I'm looking for my positive path. Yep, I like it. I feel like I'm blocking myself for an unknown reason of making more money than I need. Yeah, yeah. And that's it. Sometimes we'll just, the blocks might be like, I can seem to make enough money to take care of like food and the necessities and everything, but I just can't seem to get to that next level. And really, when we're talking about savings, we want to have not only enough to pay bills and stuff like that if there's a problem or if something happens, but we want to have enough savings to enjoy ourselves. We want to have enough savings that we can say, yeah, I can take vacation and not worry about it. You know what I mean? Those kind of things. Looking down on myself. Yeah. I don't have to work an 8 to 5 to make money. I can make more money with my business, which is true. But I would be curious to know if you have found any blocks in there when you say that, if there's any blocks when you say that to yourself. But that is absolutely true. That's true for all of us. Me too. I'm my own worst enemy. Yeah. Shame. Yeah. Big ones. So these are big, heavy, heavy, heavy words, right? Feelings. They're just, and they can really drag you down. All right, so true or false, if I don't change this, it will continue. So if I don't change the situation, it's going to continue. The costs will continue, the costs that I've been paying. And how about this one? This is bigger than money. Like I see now, this is really bigger than money. And this has cost me more than money. I mean, it could be costing you your self-confidence and your, self-esteem and all of that kind of thing. Discovered I had, oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Scary. Yeah, it is scary, but you can do it. You can do it for sure. Self-esteem. Yeah. Okay. I've got that window in the way there. With a new conscious awareness like this, when you can see and feel it, you have the power and the choice to really shift it, to change everything. You have to recognize it first. Like when you just know that you're blocked on something, but you don't really know what it is, you can't really put your finger on it, well, then it's really hard to change it. Like you can't really change it. So to operate totally differently in the way you earn and manage and create money and wealth, right? These are the decisions that you need that really require clarity, to be clear, focused, and take specific action. When your money specific inner world changes, your outer world will change too. There will be definite changes to your outer world. So what do I recommend? Well, obviously challenging your money beliefs is super important. You have to find a way to really uncover and then challenge and heal your hidden beliefs around money. If you really want to take that next level, and you can certainly get there, slogging as well, taking a long time, but you could get there quicker if you can, kind of uncover some of these beliefs and clear them. And rewiring your nervous system using EFT tapping. So I don't know if I've mentioned this yet in the presentation, but one of the most powerful things, so when I'm working with people on money, well, on anything, I use it in coaching, I use it, with anybody struggling with the money or whatever, but I use EFT tapping. So if you haven't heard, well, let me ask, is everybody kind of familiar with what I mean when I say EFT tapping, what it is? So you're tapping on these places. So it's a very, very, powerful healing tool. And again, I've been certified in EFT for, I don't know, almost as long as I've been coaching. I just found that it really ramped the coaching up for sure. So I definitely use that in my programs. I tap, yes. FEFT, yeah. Yes, no, yes, yes, yes. So this might seem kind of weird to to some people. So yeah, so EFT is a really powerful modality, healing modality. And so it has really gained momentum. It's been around for actually quite a long time, but it's really gained momentum in the past, probably 5 years, 10 years, something like that. The VA uses it, for their vets that are suffering with PTSD and stuff. I mean, it's a very powerful healing modality. And so when you're using it for something like this, what we're doing is we're tapping on those issues that are making us feel, bad in our nervous system, right? Because we talked about money, when we think about money, like those feelings, those emotions are kind of going through our nervous system. So tapping is really just kind of helping you to calm down your nervous system around this subject. And then we can use positive affirmations. Once we've tapped down the anxiety and cleared some of that stuff away, then we can tap in the better feelings, right? We can tap in the affirmations. And it helps us to create like a new energy around anything really, but specifically we're talking about money. So I highly recommend doing these 3 things. And so I want to help you to create your exact steps to a complete new energy, action, and destiny with money. And so you can really, be breaking through your inner glass ceiling, define the limitations that, you set upon yourself, really climbing higher and navigating any obstacles that come your way. And so EFT is really great for that. And I think that's kind of what's missing maybe in some money programs, money mindset programs, is you really have to have something that really is helping you break through that barrier. And EFT can really do that. So unveiling the mind, body, money connection, really recognizing those patterns, understanding the intricate relationship between your mind and your physical health and your financial well-being, addressing emotions, exploring those emotional factors, and really creating a harmony and abundance, basically. So it starts again with this awareness, right? Becoming aware, releasing and reprogramming those limiting beliefs and those negative emotions around money and replacing them with positive affirmations, empowering thoughts, and really building new habits. So I have a program called Shattering Your Inner Glass Ceiling. And there's a QR code. You can do that, hit that with your camera, and that should take you to the sales page, and then you can look at that, and if that's something that you're interested in, and you hit the join now button, it would take you to my learning. So I have a membership site, and it's a learning site where, I have the course in there. So it will take you there and have you sign up on the learning site, the Learning Academy. And then you could get into the program. So my transformative course is designed to guide you on a journey of self-discovery, helping you identify and understand the deep-seated blocks that have been limiting your financial growth. And let's go over what's included. It's on the sales page, but basically there's a welcome and overview, just kind of telling you how best to go through the course. EFT explanation and a tutorial. So basically, for those of you that are not familiar at all with EFT, I will take you through like what it is, what it does, and then go through the points with you and give you a full tutorial on that. And the reason I do that right at the beginning is because each of those next modules, we will be using EFT to clear the issues, the negative thoughts and beliefs that come up that have been uncovered, and then also using EFT to bring in the positive, right? Bring in that positive energy. So that's a part of every single module. So I show you how to do it and give you the tutorial, and then in the modules I show you how to do the tapping, like I guide you through the tapping on these things. So you have the 5 kinds of money. That's similar to what we did today, but just expanded a little bit, gives you a little bit more time to really go through the exercise. And chapter 4, I love this, the earliest money paradigm. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where I'll take you through an exercise where you can get really clear on how your family of origin was with money, how they dealt with money, how they handled money, how they talked about money, because this will help you get really clear of, on what was downloaded into your brain about money. So it just kind of helps you, understand why you deal with it the way you do. If you have like this boom and bust cycle where like you get a burst and maybe you get, some money, you find something and you get a lot of money, and then all of a sudden you sabotage yourself. There's that word, right? Sabotage. We've all heard kind of that catchphrase, self-sabotage. When you find yourself kind of being in this cycle of getting and then sabotaging, then there could be these different kind of vows at work, vows that you've taken to really be, aligned basically with your family of origin, because again, like I've said in the presentation already, it was very important to us, right, way back thousands of years. It was important to us to have our tribe of origin and to be super connected, because if you weren't, you couldn't survive in the world. That's just the way it was. And if you were ousted from your tribe of origin, then you were in trouble, right? You couldn't survive. And nowadays it's not quite that dramatic, right? But we still have these innate, feelings of wanting to belong to our family of origin. And so if they have, like, if your mom and dad have struggled all of their life and they still haven't like reached, where they wanted to reach, you may feel super uncomfortable reaching to these high levels, right? You might feel like, if I get to that point, will my family think that I, am think that I'm too good or something like that. There's a lot of this going on. So there's this, vow to belong, right? And there's also this opposing vow of rebellion, right? Like, I'm going to be different than my family. So earliest money paradigm is super important. Clearing financial and goal traumas. So we kind of talked about that when we were going through the exercise. If there's anything that's come up, things that have happened to you in the past, bad decisions you've made, or really, I'm not even going to call them bad decisions. They were decisions you made in the moment that you thought were the best decision. Maybe they didn't turn out as well. And like you've just been like berating yourself ever since about that. So we kind of go into that. We tap on that. Outrageous goals is about really setting those high goals. So I'm not just going to make $100,000. I'm going to make, $300,000. Like, I'm going to, really setting those outrageous goals. And when you do that, because it's important to set goals, but when you do that, what comes up, right? So we take you through an exercise with that. Clearing vows to be invisible and to be perfect, right? So this is more vows that we can sometimes take. Maybe in your family, you were told when you were a child not to stand out. Like people don't like people that are too, showy or whatever, like, oh, she's always got to be the center of attention, and then you may have taken a vow to be invisible, and now you want to be seen as an expert in your business, but you have this inner vow to be invisible, or to be perfect. And then kind of the last real teaching module is your highest energy of creating, giving, and receiving. So once we've done all of this work, then we go to kind of creating what you really want instead. All right, so this isn't just another money mindset or abundance course. It's really a comprehensive step-by-step process to let go of the subconscious money programming and create a powerful now free from those limits. And so again, those three powerful elements of transformation is what we would be focusing on, that absolute clarity. So each module begins with clarity about the true reason that your money is not where you want it to be, your hidden roots, the beliefs, rules, emotions, and traumas that are connected to these limiting set points. And then it has results-based transformation. So again, you would be guided through targeted use of EFT tapping that will lift kind of that huge weight of your inner wealth blocks and be able to shift your perspective, and then really unleashing that power, right? Once we kind of clear that stuff out of your system, all that negative stuff, then we can, work on creating a more power around your energy. So you have a couple of choices. You can take this information and go it alone and hope for change, like poor SpongeBob there. Or you can take the path of certainty and let me guide you step by step and ensure your success. And this program is for you if you want to experience true, deep, embodied transformation, specifically in your money. Unleash your power by becoming more alive, on fire, focused, connected to your true passion and in action, and to really overcome the cost of staying stuck by creating, the shifts that you need to create. So I love this. Somebody, again, one of these people that I very, very much trusted, said to me one time, when I was considering doing something, they said, if not this, then what? And if not now, then when? And really kind of stuck with me. So a bonus that I'm offering for the first 20 people that purchase the program is individual email coaching with me for 3 months. And so what does this mean? What do I mean by this? So I considered doing because these modules are recorded. So everything is in there is recorded. And so I considered, I wanted to have some kind of live element. So I considered doing, a Q&A, but I know that sometimes I get shy in Q&As, and I'm kind of I don't want to ask my question, especially if it's super personal. And then I wait until the last minute, and then it's time for for it to be over. So I've done email coaching. I know that sounds weird, but I've done email coaching before with people, and it actually is super powerful because you can really take your time in asking your questions, and I can take my time in answering your questions and helping you and guiding you. So for the first 20 people who sign up for the program, you will get this individual email coaching. So you'll be able to just email me and say, I'm on module 2 and I've gone through this and this is what came up for me. This is what I'm struggling with. How do I tap on this? And then, I may ask you some more questions. I may just shoot you an email, a tapping script, or like a little tapping video. I love to create little videos for people. So I might just create a guided tapping for you and just send that to you and say, start tapping on this, keep tapping on this. Okay. So that is for the first 20 people. So that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to take a look at the chat. see here. Yeah, why don't you send, Karen, why don't you send your name, and I see your name, but send your name and email into support at the Little Sisters. And if somebody can put that email address in there, and we'll reserve you a spot. I saw some of the comments, you know, some of the things that you were talking about earlier. So yeah, that's fine. All right, anybody else have any questions about the program? This will be an ongoing program, so it will be, it is open. It's a course on my Learning Academy, so it will be there, so you can definitely sign up for it when you're ready. And but you know, if you just might not have if the 20 spots are taken, you wouldn't have the email coaching, but you know, I'm always happy to answer any questions as far as, you know, just a couple of things that you know, you're struggling with or whatever, but you just won't have kind of that full email coaching experience if you're outside of that 20. But yeah, definitely. Oh, you're so welcome. Any other questions? And you'll get my email address, you know, once you sign up for the program, you'll get my email address in
All right. It seems as if Joella has frozen. Not sure. Is her picture frozen for everyone? Give me a one in the chat. This is Ava. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I mean, we had such an amazing presentation from Joella. I'm sure a lot of us didn't even know that we had these blocks when it came to money and such. So Adrian dropped the link. If you're interested in signing up, check it out. Email the help desk if you have any questions. Helpdesk at littlesisterssupport.com, and we will get those answered for you. Thank you guys for coming on the Learning Tube session, where we try to give you a variety of information to help you in all aspects of your business. So thanks, Joella, so much for her amazing presentation. It was really interesting what she had to say, and the way she went through the activity that she did helped us really go through and work through some of the issues that we are facing. All right, guys, thank you so much. And we will see you on the next Learning Tube. Bye, guys.